This episode of the 520 Collective show, you never know who is watching, and that is why you should be putting your best effort forward. Also, what would an official Christian rap chart mean for the genre? We're looking at charting system's potential impact and what it will take to make it happen. Let's go.
Message heavy, dope prime show, they not ready. Race against the time like four wheels and hands ready. Keep it steady, beat it hard and they barely give them ears and hear the truth in the light. Dope confetti, message heavy, dope prime show, they not ready. Race against the time like four wheels and hands ready. Keep it steady, beat it hard and they barely give them ears and hear the truth in the light. Dope confetti, just a flip of the watch, it's game time. Flip of the watch, it's game time. Vibes, just a flip of the watch, it's game time. 20, flip of the watch, it's game time. Just a flip of the watch, it's game time. 20, flip of the watch, it's game time. 5, just a flip of the watch, it's game time. 5, just a flip of the watch, it's game time. 520.
520 Collective. Listen every day or get robbed. I'm kidding.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the 520 Collective Show. We are being sponsored by Kingdom Club Apparel. Make sure to check them out at godfirstent.com. That's GOD1STENT.com. And grab the latest hoodies, tees, caps, and specialty merch now. I recently received my Nunya business hoodie, and guys, I love it. The fit is spot on. The quality is amazing. Show your support for Kingdom Club Apparel now while you're hitting up godfirstent.com. Let's go ahead and jump into this show. Guys, I wanted to do a little something. See if we can't get this rolling and make it an everyday, or not every day, an every show thing, right? And I wanted to bring in a verse of the month, man. You know, been doing a lot of really cool devotionals within the 520 Collective family, right? We got the Discord, of course, and a bunch of us on there. We do these devotionals all the time, right? We finish one, we start a new one. And man, we've read through a lot of really good, not only devotional content, but of course, great scripture as well, man. And so the one we've been currently reading, there was a verse that really jumped out to me. I wanted to bring it to the show and talk a little bit about it with you guys right now. The verse is Matthew 6:34, and this is what it says, therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious about itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. So, man, there's definitely some stuff that jumps out to me. I want to know, what's your guys' initial thoughts when you hear that verse?
You know when like somebody wants you to do something and they won't stop giving you instructions, and then they be like, and after that, I need you to clean up the thing, but then after that, I need you to be like, bro, let me finish the first thing you wanted me to do. Like that's how that verse reminds me, is like, I'm taking it one day at a time, taking it one step at a time, and I can only walk with God one moment by moment. Worried about tomorrow, it's gonna get here.
No, that's dope. Not just plans, but plans to work. Like some people actually plan to be effective and to pout and to, pity party and all of that, man. What I love about that scripture though is I think that it's a cure for anxiety. All right. And so it's not a suggestion that Jesus makes here, but he says be. When he says to be, he's saying to do something. Like, this is your disposition. This is how you're supposed to act and respond to some of the different things that are going to transpire. You don't have to be anxious. You don't have to, what are you worrying for? If I'm God and I got you, then I've got you. And I think sometimes we limit God to just heaven and hell and don't realize that God is like truly concerned about everything that goes on in our lives. So Jesus said, be anxious for nothing.
Dude, and if you are listening and you want to weigh in, let us know what you think about this verse. We would love to hear it. Again, we say you can go to Twitter, you can tweet at us, you can go to 520collective.com, hit us up there. However, but we want to hear your voice. We want to get more people into the conversation because we'd love to hear it. And actually, fellas, we get to do that a little bit right now, because with us for this episode is the big dog himself from GH3. Emcee N.I.C.E is in the building. And Nice, I'm going to start it off, man. I'm going to throw it at you, bro. What do you think of the verse?
Yeah, it just takes me back all the way back to Jeremiah. God is saying that he has a plan for you, and that's the plan for good, so that you should not perish but have an everlasting life. So at the end of the day, if you worried about tomorrow, then you worried about the wrong things. right? So the bottom line is he's saying have faith, have belief, and wholeheartedly believe in that. And then the things that's coming towards you or may happen towards you is not meant for you. So when you think about, tomorrow will take care of itself, that's because the plan is already in place for everything to be taken care of, as long as you have faith, as long as you have an understanding that God is going to be there for you. So for me, when I hear that scripture, I go, okay, I see. So at the end of the day, let me control today. You know what I'm saying? Let me worry about today. And when tomorrow comes, it's going to have its own set of healing. It's going to have its own set of problems. It's going to have if that's the case, because if I'm walking in faith and I'm walking wholeheartedly, at the end of the day, I don't worry. I wake up every day, like my man say, smelling freedom.
Yeah, that's right. Emcee N.I.C.E is in the building. God's House of Hip Hop Radio. Thanks for joining us, man. We're glad you're here.
Hey, oh man, I'm always rocking with the culture, and you guys are the culture. So you know what I mean, and that's the message that has to be sent to everybody that's in the culture. You're the culture. You know what I'm saying? So we all have a voice, and you have a voice, and I love y'all's voice.
Hey man, we love you. Yeah, man. Indie Christian culture, that's what it's about here at FiveTwenty Collective and the FiveTwenty Collective show. In case someone's not familiar with the story, man, give them a quick rundown, man. Tell them a little bit about Emcee N.I.C.E, man.
Well, one, I'm a man of God, have been since I've been born, no matter, even though I had a secular run. But the secular run wasn't due to the fact that I wanted a secular run. It was the fact that the church didn't want me to have a Christian rap, gospel rap. So at the end of the day, I started out in gospel rap that people don't know. One of my mentors was a man named Poetic Lee, who was with Soldiers for Christ, right? So SFC, back in the day, I've been in the music business 30 plus years, right? So, you can do the math that I was out when SFC was pushing mixtapes. Well, not even mixtapes. They were selling tapes, cassettes and whatnot. And my man, Poetic Lee, we went to Bible college together. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I was going to be a minister. But, it didn't happen that way in regards to pulpit ministry, but music ministry is what set me off. So I started with the first Latin rap group in the history of rap music to hit the Billboard charts, called The Lighter Shade of Brown. You might have heard the records On a Sunday Afternoon, Latin Active, Hey DJ. We put out the greatest hits in the mid-90s. And then I reinvented myself, got with a group called Kansas Cali, where I was the lead rapper. We had a lead singer, and we produced Tupac. You see Thug's Mansion. So if you heard Thug's Mansion, the acoustic version, that's my record. You know what I'm saying? So we did it with Nas, and then we did 8 motion picture soundtracks. One won an Oscar, a movie called Crash. But, Mr. and Mrs. Smith too, and then transcended into animation, where I'm one of the creators of a cartoon called The Jammies. This is the first African-American animated music series on Netflix. So that opened up the doors for a lot of the urban culture that you see on Netflix now, when before they wasn't really putting urban things in there. You know what I mean? And so went to that and hooked up with Mark Cuban to do the theme song for the NBA in 2010. Then hooked up with, Prince, and my man Dr. Fink to do tribute to Prince, a song called Pop Life he had. Well, we redid it, and Prince, that was his favorite record ever redone. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be on the greatest hits album. And then obviously my man passed off. And then I hooked up with an actress named Stacey Dash. Everybody know that from Clueless and all this other stuff. And, Russell Simmons co-signed us. We put out a record together. She had a difference of opinion in regards to Obama, and Black Twitter jumped all on us. And so at the end of the day, they thought it was her record. You know what I mean? But it was my record, so I'm getting smashed for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So, but had to lay low, came back, got with an artist named Suhana Machete. We put out a record, went 13 weeks on the Billboard charts, independent, and God was like, yeah, okay, now that you got all this knowledge, you was an executive over at Warner, you got marketing experience, you got artist experience. I need you to take that to Christian hip hop. I need you to bring that over there and teach our people, you know, so that we can effectively change music, because music was changing, right? And so I'm like, yo, wait, hold up, Lord, you know the Maybach is coming. What's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to go live, you know? And God was like, yeah, you're going to live with me. You know what I mean? So I was obedient. I came into Christian hip hop. 2017 was my first album, called Praise. Single came out called I Got Angels, #1 on the Billboard charts. While utilizing the know-how in regards to all that knowledge I learned. Because God was like, they're not going to know you. They're not going to understand you. But, you know, in the end, we will prevail, and you would have educated your brothers and your sisters. You know what I'm saying? Fred Hammond, we came out, #1 record. Now the conversation's different. Oh, well, we know you got #1s, but we can't give you the money you looking for because Christian rap don't have radio that supports it. Christian rap don't have venues outside of churches that supports it. So how do we tabulate the actual people that you bring out? Because when you go to a church, that's already a built-in audience in which the church say, hey, we got Zero for Hire coming. We need all the kids to show up, whether they like him or not. They coming. Versus in the real world where the labels is going, yo, you want real money, we need to know that you got real people. And that's why I'm here. You know, when they said, hey, Christian rap don't have radio, Christian rap don't have this, Christian rap don't have media, we said, okay, keep your deal. We went and started a radio station, God's House of Hip Hop, GH3 Radio. We partnered with Dash Radio, which now has 17 million listeners a month. We're just over 1 million, right? We became the first Christian gospel rap station in the history of the gospel to win a Stellar Award, right? And even still, it's just like trying to get the culture to understand. At the end of the day, a lot of them want that secular fame. You want that secular fame and a secular name, but still want to claim God. You know what I'm saying? So it's that the bottom line is why you want to do all that, right? But then get mad when people call you on it. You see? So at the end of the day, I always tell them, like, yo, you can go over to the secular side, cuss people out and praise God, because they doing that over there. But over here, you got responsibilities. It's a moral here. You know what I'm saying? When you say CHH or gospel rap, guess what? You representing everything that embodies being a Christian, everything that embodies being gospel. But then when somebody call you and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, what, yo, y'all to this or y'all to that. Nah, man, you over here, that's what's up, you know?
Yo, bro, I don't know you like that, but you just made me love you more than I already do. So,
yeah, man,
for real.
I say, man, Zero. I don't know. We could probably just cut it off there, man. Right? I mean, there it is. Just shut it down,
night,
right? Like,
thanks
I mean,
for watching.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but our guy, he's done a little something.
That's
an impressive resume. I ain't trying to just blow smoke. Like that's a lot.
Right? Exactly, man. And there's some other stuff that I know we're going to get into as well as we get through the show here, man. What's crazy is the fact that FiveTwenty Collective is here and we're with God's House of Hip Hop Radio now, right? And as we were kind of going through this process, right, and you hit us up, I want to talk a little bit about just how this thing came to be. Nice. Like, I have a hard time believing in coincidence anymore, right? I feel like God knows what he needs to do with all this stuff, right? I mean, that sounds kind of like duh, right? But honestly, that's where we're at. Like, I can't even think, well, man, that just seems, awfully random for that to happen. No, it's not random anymore, right? Because you and I, like, dude, you were actually one of the very first interviews on our show when we first kicked off, 4 or 5 years ago, right? So we got connected with you. We've known each other for a little bit, but like, this didn't happen right away, right? It was, I think the last couple of years I've actually like kind of hit you up around the beginning of the year, like, hey, can I send you the newest show? Let you check it out. And you're always like, yeah, send it to me. And then it'd be like nothing. I'd be like, dang, we suck. That's how that was. But then this year, man, like, there's that call. It's like, oh, Nice is calling. What's up? And you came in, you just changed. You just changed the year. We were planning, we were thinking this is how stuff will look. Dude, you can't plan stuff, right? So, and it just came back around to us like, you never know who's watching. And it goes back to that scripture that tells us, man, everything you do it as unto the Lord, right? Go hard. And you're going to see the fruits, right? Because you said that to me, right? I don't want to I want you to be able to say your words. But I mean, just, that conversation we had, man, like I came away from it. I was so excited. These guys know. These guys can tell you about the conversations that we had. As soon as I got off the phone, I was like blowing them up. Like, dude, you guess who just called me,
Right.
But for real, but I think that you do a great job of sharing that message and inspiring people and giving people that confidence whenever it comes to that idea of you never know who is watching.
Yeah, you never know, but I've been watching, right? So here's with me, right? There's no one voice. Only God's the one voice, right? And our job is to amplify that, right? So it can't be just one person or one entity or one group of people just amplifying the voice and dictating, what that voice is, right? So with 520, you guys represent authenticity. You represent organic. You represent diversity. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you're a representation of the culture with the unified voice of amplifying God's word. Like I said, media is just an opinion. We all got opinions. And 9 times out of 10, it boils down to who's more charismatic in their delivery. Then all of a sudden you gravitate to that person because they said Lord with a growl. You know what I mean? So, oh, did you hear the way he said Lord? That shook my soul. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when I'm listening to 520, I'm like, yo, you guys got real subject matters, right? And you balance scripture with, real talk. 9 times out of 10, that's what people want. Balance scripture, real talk. That's why Kanye blew up. You know what I'm saying? Kanye blew up because he was just like, look, I'm going to just give you me, but I'm going to give you the word too. Because he was giving people the word. He had more Christian in his records than a lot of our Christians.
Watch out.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so my man's a little weird. You know what I mean? But at the end, but who he's really being real and authentic. And a lot of cats in the culture is not that. And you guys represent authenticity. You represent organic and you represent diversity, and your message deserves to be heard.
It's funny because you said you never know who's watching, and ever since like 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, well, I guess it's too late to be fake now. Can't dial it back. They already seen it.
But yeah, man, no, I love that you're on here because, you and I have been talking, but man, I wanted to give my guys, I wanted to give Zero and KD the chance not only to get to know you, right, but I want them to be able to share some of what this journey has been like for them, because I hear it. I want you to hear it, man. Like, what do you guys want to say to Nice about just this whole process, man, on how everything has come together with the 520 Collective show becoming a part of GH3 Radio?
Well, first of all, thank you.
Yeah. For real.
It's so God is undefeated when it comes to rewarding his people, right? Unfortunately, though, what we do too often is we chase the reward instead of chasing the rewarder, right? Everybody wants the promise without the process, right? When we met and we started talking about kind of shifting the course or the direction or the platform and having more of these conversations, I mean, we took on some tough topics. Last year, man, we just kind of really crushed it with some of the stuff that we address, some of the things that were going on in the space, some of the things that were happening in the body, and taking those things head on, no cookie cutter, no clickbait, none of that stuff, right? Came together, we talked, we made sure that the word was the star. We made sure that God and Jesus were center stage. And God started opening doors. And so, that's really a big deal. So ultimately, again, man, we praise God for his faithfulness. But we're grateful for the opportunity to be able to partner with you, partner with GH3, man, and just all of the things that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, the resume to me is dope, but being able to hear your heart behind where you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it, to me, that's way dope. Because at the end of the day, stuff is cool, man. And, people come and go, opportunities come and go. But truly, what you do for Christ is what will last and ultimately what will count. So I appreciate that part of this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm really moved by the stuff you were saying earlier, the things that reflect the church in the diversity and the many voices. Because I've always been, as a Christian, as an artist, as a media person, I've always paid attention to things that aren't like directly in the middle. There's nothing worse to me than a platitude, So I listen to weird music. I listen to commentators other people don't listen to because I want that collection of perspectives so I can have a better grasp on the truth. And, win or lose, I want to say that I did what I thought God was telling me to do as best as I could, as best as I understood it, and may his grace fill in the blanks. And I can't worry about, if it's cool or if it's trendy. Like, that's why God gave me a wife and kids, so I can be as nerdy as I need to be. I got my wife, my kids, my family loves me. I got my boys online. They care about me. I don't have to worry about trends and stuff. We can just be straight, talk the truth, talk about what we feel like the culture needs to hear and what's important. And, it's funny. Sometimes we drop some stuff and it turns out there's other people out there that are needing somebody to give them permission to work through some of these challenges. And I don't want to stand in the way of somebody's development. So to hear what you said about not just GH3, but the vision of the church moving forward in all directions, because that's what really what we're supposed to do. We're not just the church of the cool kids. Like we're for everybody, all of God's people. That's encouraging to me, because that means there's a place at the table for everybody.
Yeah, that's how it's intended. And that's how it's meant to be. It's just that when you got people that want to course correct, they change the dialogue. Remember when the Bible was first written, it was written in this dialect, and then they translated into this dialect. Then King James came in and translated into this, and then added his things. So as the translation, deciphering kept coming further and further down, we're losing the message, and we're only being guided by whoever's in leadership. That's saying, hey, now, you ever seen The Wiz? He's like, yeah. the color is now blue. You understand? And all of a sudden everybody's like, blue. It's that whole thing, right? But there's the symbolism in that in regards to the dictator of Richard Pryor he was a dictator. And everybody swore by that until they found out he was a fraud. Satan is the ultimate fraud. So he's going to always, find a way to try to connive and come in. We just have to be diligent as servants and voice amplifiers to make sure that everybody can hear.
What's up? It's Darius again with another round of Wavemaker picks. This time we're talking March 2023, and let me tell you, it was a great month for indie Christian culture. So make sure to check out FiveTwentyCollective.com for some of the other best drops that I'm not able to mention in this little clip. A few releases that stood out to me include Doomsday Clock, another great single by Namas. Dex the Nerd Who Loves Jesus exploded onto the scene and is pulling no punches whatsoever with The Reckoning. Village King, aka Pedity and Notaverbs, released another great single with Forward Motion. And then finally, two projects that are definitely worth your time are This Is For The Wait 2, and that's spelled T-O-O, by Emcee, and then Broken Genius by Trutha. Definitely some of the best of the year. I've been Darius Mullen. You're listening to 520 Collective, and I'll talk at you again next month.
He looked at the culture and you saw some things that were missing. You're like, hey, we can do this, right? That's something that we can address. And I think you're doing the same thing in some other areas, right? That's really interesting. And one thing that the culture has talked about for a while whenever it comes to Christian rap is like, hey, you know, we don't have our own charting system. We don't have a way to maybe put a spotlight on the biggest songs in the genre, right? And you know, you kind of, as you and I were talking, you let me know, hey, it's coming, right? I've talked to a few other people that I think want to, you know, explore that path a little bit as well. But whenever N.I.C.E tells me it's coming, I'm like, okay, so here we go, right? And I don't think we're letting any cats out of the bag at this point. Well, I want to be able to talk about this Christian rap chart with you. You know, we kind of put out some polls on our Twitter account. We put out a poll through our newsletter that went out and asked some questions just to get some feedback from the people, man, to see, okay, where's the pulse of the culture currently at, man? And I'm going to read some of these questions to you, give you kind of their response, and then I want to hear your take on it and kind of your process as you've been working through this idea of putting this chart together, right? So the first question that we asked was, do you think Christian rap needs an official charting system? And so this went to Twitter and to our newsletter through Substack, our readers there. And honestly, they're not that far off. I mean, Twitter, 69% said yes. 31% said no. Substack was 75 and 25, man. So not that far off from each other. So let's start there. One, because I already know your answer. You're on the yes side. Why does Christian rap need an official charting system? And how does that make you feel hearing that the overwhelming majority are behind it?
I think because we have a lot of rappers that leave for the secular side, right? And a lot of them be like, yo, you see my album Mid-Out Soul Drake. You see my song, I'm number 12 on the iTunes charts. I'm number so and so and such and such. So at the end of the day, the artists value that, right? So why don't, so for me, it's like, at the bottom line is, why don't we big up ours? I was talking to, one of my, Shani, she's like my business partner. Christians is paying $10,000 to go see Beyonce in concert. $1,000 to go see Beyonce in concert, but yet, when it comes to us, we want freemium stuff. If it ain't $25, it's too expensive. But at the end of the day, you're a Christian, right? So I think when we create, it's about creating value for the culture, right? So when you create magazines, that's value. We got 4 radio stations? That's value, because every one of us is playing stuff different, right? So we got media, that's value as far as magazines. So when you create a charts, and the charts is not just what I think, it's going to be the overall of who's playing what. You know what I'm saying? And who's actually, is rising up out of that, that's actually getting sustainable play, that we can say, yo, you can be mad, but this is what's on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Radio still matters. Spotify is nothing but a commercial-free radio. You know what I'm saying? Or it's got commercials, but you still listening. You know what I'm saying? So you listening to Pandora, you're listening to Apple. It's still music. Now, if they took all those platforms away, then what?
Yep. And then you got the metrics of it is the important part. If you got those metrics, you can't just go game Spotify and be like, look how popular I am, because we can see you now.
No, we had that, believe it or not. We had, even with 2020 Summerfest, we had an artist get upset that artist wasn't a headliner and gave us the metrics of Spotify. And we was like, yeah, but you haven't been in California. You haven't been on radio in California. You haven't did no concerts in California, and you getting upset. So, you're right. The metrics is that. So our metrics is going to be based on what everybody's playing and doing a consolidated, analytics on this is who's rising out of that.
This is a good 1-2 punch, because now there's also there's no excuse to say, well, there ain't no Christian radio. No, we got GH3. We got the platforms. So submit. You got the submission process. Put it out there. And then we see how it performs. So really, there's no excuse.
Real fact.
Let's just all go out there and have some fun and do your thing.
Yeah, but the thing, here's what people fail to realize is that they're leaving money on the table by not submitting. Right? So not only do you, hey, get an opportunity to hit the charts, but even if you don't hit the charts, but because your record is playing, that's money that's being paid out that you're not collecting because you didn't license your music properly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the musicrc.com where you can go license your music. Not license, but register your music so that you can get that licensing money. I'm going to just give you an example. So I was in Las Vegas and there was this dude who was like, I ain't in it for the money. I ain't in it to do this. I'm just, I just want to rap for the Lord. But yet, if you're not in it for the money, then just give your records away. Right? Because at the end of the day, the music business is the music business, and somebody's collecting off of your music business. So if you're submitting to Spotify, if you're submitting to this, guess what? They gotta pay. And if your information ain't correct, then you're not getting no money. So you might as well just give the records away. So I always say, if at the end of the day, God didn't say you couldn't make no money. He didn't say that. And at the same time, you got others making money off of you, but because you want to be holier than thou and say, oh, I'm just giving it away. Then don't complain when somebody make a buck off you.
True.
You see? So that's why I would say, if you ain't in it, once you say, hey, I'm going to sell my records, that means I'm saying, hey, I want to make money off of my records. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. And then at that point, it becomes the music business.
True that.
Where your publishing got to be straight.
Yeah.
Right? Where your ISRC codes, your contracts got to be straight with the writers and the producers. Because guess what? All of them got to get paid too.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to go to a producer and be like, yo, let me get this. Guess what? The lease beats, they be like, they leasing them because they want to own the rights, because when that money's made, it's coming back to them.
Mm-hmm. Multiple times.
KD, you're an artist, man. Like, tell me, like, what would it mean for you to wake up and find your name, your record on a chart, especially one that is, handled by, like a GH3, like an Emcee N.I.C.E, right? Like, what does that mean from the artist perspective that the genre has that recognition in place for artists?
So, by us, for us, should always still be our first kind of point of celebration and recognition. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should want to get it at the crib first before you get it somewhere else. Even though, we know Jesus said, hey, prophets without honor in his own home. This goes down to a lot of this stuff, right? And so this is why a lot of cats leave. Kanye didn't pop until he left Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, Common, talk about the same thing. Common went out to LA, and that's when everybody started hearing about Common. Before then, he was Common Sense. You know what I'm saying? And then he had to change his name. But y'all didn't know that because he was local Common. I'm in Chicago. So, these are guys that I grew up in and around. You know what I'm saying? So you would like to get it at the crib first. You would like to get it from people who understand what you do and can appreciate what you do. But kind of like my question is this, because N.I.C.E, you even mentioned, you see a lot of artists like leaving the space. And by default, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, there's a lot of individuals who are leaving the faith as they leave the space, searching for that audience, that approval, that acceptance, right? Do you think having a chart structured this way, which I think is dope, and again, just listening to your heart behind all of this stuff is super important. And I don't think you have to throw away ministry just because you're getting in the business. You know what I'm saying? Like Paul talks about the minister eating and living off the ministry. So if you are doing this for ministry, then there's a way to do this where God can set you up. Residual income is not a sin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a bad thing to get checks in the mail. Whoever said that? You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's the way that you do it. I just think that we're not educated enough from the spiritual side and then from the principle side of how to apply that stuff. But do you think a chart would be enough? Do you think the hometown recognition from the home team will be enough to keep some of these guys? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, a lot of this, it comes down to being a heart matter. But we should want the recognition from us, from here, from home. That means there's a little bit more unity. We like to complain about not having the unity. If we get this recognition from home, there's a little more unity. There's more people that are supporting. There's more folks who are fighting with us than there are fighting against us. And we got to be willing to recognize that. So do you think like having a chart would be enough?
Yeah, clarification though. So one, your heart has to be in it from the jump. So I'm saying in regards to from the ministry side of things, meaning that if you're coming in and your job is like, I just want to spread God's word, but you don't want no money. You know what I'm saying? But yet you complaining about, oh man, I got to keep putting these tapes out. There's some type of spendage that's happening to facilitate that. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's just a matter of don't quit saying you don't need the money. You actually need the money to keep putting out product, right? So in that sense, but back to your question. The question is, so it's not just the chart. It's the cultivation of everything. It's the festivals. It's the magazine media. It's the world in our world that they searching for outside of our world. Yeah. So 9 times out of 10, when a secular dude is going secular, I don't know if his whole heart was actually in it to begin with. I just think that, the bottom line was like, okay, maybe I might be able to jump here and then get a little buzz here and then move over. You know what I'm saying?
Title.
Yeah, right. Or NF. I mean, he buzzed here and then once he got on the major, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? So I don't know where his heart is. I ain't gonna speak ill of that, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, he started here. You know what I'm saying? And he's still trying to get acceptance over there. So you know what I mean? So, right. So in this case, I believe the reason it's important is because it's a part of the bigger thing where it's saying, hey, we love you and here's ours. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you get the type of hours and still crave that, then where is your heart?
Facts. I agree. I just wanted to hear you say it, bro. So that
it's all good.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
You just wanted to set the ball on the tee for him right quick.
It should be dope for us to be able to do something like this, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not settling. Like, this doesn't make it weak because, you popped in the kingdom, but don't nobody in the world know your name. Is that terrible? Is that so terrible? Like, is that so disgusting?
I think it's terrible in the sense that we have more people in the kingdom that are out that are superseding the world. So if the kingdom truly supports the kingdom, then we will have major stars.
That's man. Listen, you hitting a bunch of nails on the head, bro. Like, but again, and you even alluded to it earlier. Why are you paying all this money to go see Beyonce?
Right.
You know how many dope artists we have in the kingdom? Well, what's one of the first things you hear people say? We don't make this type of music. That's a lie. There are so many super cold artists that you just you don't want to do the research. So you want to settle for what's comfortable and what makes sense to your flesh. So I'm like, man, I'm going to go out here and I'll spend a gang of money to go see people who care nothing about my soul.
It gets even deeper than that. At the end of the day is, where are our gospel networks that are putting money into, the situation? Because guess what? If we had a gospel network that was spending money like BET or spending money like MTV or spending money like CBS, Fox, and all of them in gospel or Christian rap, then we wouldn't have to. They would be looking at us going, "Oh, I need to do a gospel record." Well, guess what they're doing right now? Gospel records, DJ Khaled, Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Like all of them now, because they realize that over here, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna just leave you with this. Over here, they have to do that because licensing is now saying we don't want secular rap, we want the Christian rappers. Yeah. Why? Because their music is clean, their music is clear, and so that's where they see all these Christian rappers getting the bag over there. So they're like, yo, we need to change up the structure of our money. God did. You know what I'm saying? God's plan. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Right? And so, you know, that's what it boils down to. So in regards to these charts, the reason why it's going to, you know, the reason why it's one of the components, because there's multiple components, but it's one component that we can say, look, this is what's actually buzzing in the culture. And guess what that does with the culture? It motivates these dudes to go, oh, I need to get on that chart. I need to go service Holy Culture. I need to go service Soul Flow. I need to go service God's House of Hip Hop because I want to be seen.
I guess my next question, and it kind of goes into the second question we asked on the poll as well. But like I said earlier, you know, I've talked to several people who wanted to do a chart, who said we need a chart, but yet it hasn't been able to get off the ground. But yet here's Emcee N.I.C.E, here's GH3 getting this thing off the ground. Before I get into the poll question and let you respond to that, first let's just start like how did you make sure that, hey, this is more than just a good idea, this is something that needs to happen, and where are we just in the process, you know, at this point whenever it comes to the charting system?
Yeah, it's just about putting a system in place that can gather the analytics from all other sources, right? So understanding what Holy Culture plays, understanding what Soul Flow plays, understanding what all these different entities that are representations of CHH, gospel rap, and Latin Christian hip hop, and, you know, consolidating those things and say, yo, these are the records that are garnering, you know, the spins. You know, hopefully that doesn't taint it where other people are going to these radio stations and going, well, here, let me pay this fee, you know what I'm saying, to get it. You know, it starts with us going from a just an honorable situation going, yo, this is what's playing, you know what I mean? And then hopefully that motivates artists, you know, to go, okay, I need to really broaden my marketing, broaden my servicing, you know what I mean? And then when you do that, you create healthy competition, but at the same time, now you're getting people structured in the sense of they're getting their business together.
So you take it from there, right? And you got to deal with the whole, you know, this is a cool idea, but yet we need to move beyond, well, this is a cool idea, right? We need it to be something that the culture does indeed get behind, right? And so I really want to get your thoughts and your response to this the second question that we asked on our Twitter poll. And this was the one, like I was like, okay, whenever I put a poll out, right, whether it's poll, survey, whatever, I always try to throw a question in there where I'm like, what's that one question that if it's going to get pushback, this is the one that is going to get that pushback, right? And this was the one I kind of thought, okay, we're going to see how people come at it from this. The question was, would an official Christian rap chart add a level of legitimacy to the genre, right? And so I think whenever I was like, okay, let's address the legitimacy factor. I think you're going to get a lot of people coming out, no, it's legit. Look at what we do, this, that, the other, blah, 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 right? But the overwhelming majority, 75%, actually came back and said, yeah, if we had charts, that's going to help legitimize what we're doing in Christian rap. Like, what's your response to that, man? Do you view it as a legitimizer? I don't know if that's a real word or not, but does it add that? Does it take it up a notch whenever it comes to how legitimate the genre is?
Yeah, especially when it's for the culture, by the culture. Like my man KD said earlier, for us, by us, right? When it's for the culture, by the culture, you can't, how you going to dispute that? Like, we from the culture. The entities that are being used to determine this is from the culture. So, what, you going to get mad at the culture because they don't pick your favorite artist? You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, that's what it boils down to right now. Is they not picking your favorite artist versus this ain't something you pick. This is analytics. This is data. You know what I'm saying? This ain't, oh, the favorite artist of the week. This is, hey, Bizzle's being played 300 times a week. This is where he ranks. But Lecrae is being played, 1,000 times a week, and this is where he ranks. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's the way the system works. You know, if you're gonna be mad at the system, then I don't know. You might need to check your whole understandings.
I think that something that does is it cuts a lot of the dead weight off, cuts out a lot of the fat. When you hear a song you like, you want to hear it again. And when you as a fan can say, play that again, you contribute to the culture, and that propels the good music that you collectively want to see.
No, I think that levels actually the playing field. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does give everybody a chance. But are you going to do what it takes to kind of throw your hat in the ring? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fair. And then two, it's not necessarily the same popularity poll. I can't say it's not a popularity poll, but it's not the same popularity poll where you sending this out to all your people and your people are voting, and then here you go. And whatever you did could still very well be terrible. You know what I'm saying? This is a different, like, this is, if you want to talk about like good popularity, that's not based on being popular, but it's based on quality and what you bring to the table. Like, this would kind of fit that criteria. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
this is a process that you can't really complain about, because again, the criteria for submissions, the criteria to be a part of this is the same for everybody. Are you going to meet the criteria? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really that simple.
Yeah, the rubric has to be balanced. So yeah, you can go, hey, 10% popularity. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do that, but the weight in regards to popularity is based on who. You know what I'm saying? And so for us, gathering the analytics, saying you can go vote for whomever you want 1,000,000 times. This is what the analytics say. You know what I'm saying? And you can't dispute that. You can't, let's say, men and women lie, numbers don't. Like, that's real fact. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if that's the case, then that's the case. I mean, think about it. I belong to the Grammy, right? I'm a Grammy member, and I'm in the voting process. Grammys is actually supposed to be based on the sound and quality of your album. Is the lyrics right? Are the sound great? You know what I'm saying? And if it was a popularity vote, Beyonce would have won Album of the Year and not Bonnie Raitt. In Christian hip hop, not only do we have to, we create this system, but we have to actually hold the system accountable as leaders of the culture, right? So it really at the top with, a holy culture, ourselves, 520, track stars, whomever is in the crew, whoever's involved is the fresh leftovers. It starts with us being real about it. When you submit a record to GH3, one, it has to sonically sound right. How do I look playing a record that don't sound right after a Lecrae record, which actually is beaten through the roof? And now the quality drops off, and now we being looked at as, oh, you just a mediocre station, versus no, sonically you have to sound right? And then two, you have to have all your registration and everything in process to make that happen. So I think what this is going to do is going to help sculpt a whole new artist in regards to I need to do this, I need to do that in order for me to be here, and here.
Well, and KD, the thing you were saying a minute ago, man, I want you to take it a little bit deeper, just a little bit deeper, man, because what I heard you saying was, something that I've been thinking about with this whole thing, right? Like, not only, people can't just say this is cool, and they can't just say that this is something we need, but what we see happening too often within Christian hip hop is people say, okay, cool, you guys want this? We're going to do it. And then they spend the time, they put the effort in to put this in place. And then there's zero support. It's like, where are the people that said they wanted this, right? I think you were kind of talking about that a little bit, man. Go a little bit deeper on that side of it.
Well, I'm going to say this because sometimes new things come with sticker shock, right? You don't realize what you got to pay to actually drive the vehicle. You know what I mean? One thing that people need to realize, though, about platforms and outlets, if your platform and outlet is to grow, it doesn't grow by playing the homies just because they're the homies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand what happens is that the perception that comes across is that when you're looking at the fact that, oh, they play only neighborhood cats. And it doesn't matter whether the quality is, and so nice when you just talk about, the mix and the master on the record, if it's not industry quality, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, you recorded in your bathroom, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I can't put that on the radio. Behind this, because now it takes away from the quality of the product, right? Overall, comprehensively, it's like, okay, quality, instead of quality, not quality. Like, we have to understand, but then we'll turn around and these are the same people who will complain about the platforms and complain about lack of exposure and lack of opportunities. Oh, you know what? Let me run over here and do something else. It doesn't work like that, and it can't be expected to work like that. So I think it's unfair. And then too, you will have a lot of those individuals. Yo, this is dope. This is a dope idea, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you're going to do something, keep me posted. Hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Drop the link. Let me know. Send me to the website, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. But again, where's the effort behind it? Because once you get all of that information, once you get the criteria, once you know what it takes and what's required, the rest of that stuff is supposed to be simple, right? So I think part of what this does as well is that we can't, and we've talked about this, we can't necessarily touch on the heart, but we can retrain a mindset.
I think about being an artist and seeing like, okay, there's the opportunity. That's what I need to be able to partake in this opportunity. And then setting aside your time to make sure day by day you got those things in place. And then, you know, you Goku. You just put it in, you say, I'll take my shot and see what happens now, because you put in the work. There's a lot of songs that ain't worth that, man. A lot of songs are just like the flavor.
And there's a lot of submissions we get that I don't even put on. And I listen to every single song that come into GHB Radio. And people, you know, there's some haters out there that be like, oh, nice just being this, that, and the third. I'm like, you put your record next to Lecrae or Bizzle or Derek Minor and tell me that this record really goes hard like that. Like, be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Or when I write you back and be like, hey, I like the idea of the record, but I think you need to go to an on-beat and get the music remixed, or go to whatever engineer or music or mastering company that Lecrae and them uses, or whomever, to make sure that your record is up to par, at least for us to give it a shot. Do I know hits? No, but I know sound. I know what sonically sounds right. And then at the end of the day, if you sonically sound right, we're going to give you a shot. And then who knows? Because at that point, it's up to the listeners to be like, yo, we want more of that. And I think with the culture is that you got everybody think they dope, or everybody think they unique. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, you can be all these things, you can think all these things, but is your records competitive to be up on these platforms? I'm a managing editor for Rise Magazine. We're getting ready to introduce a thing called 3 Crowns. So Source Magazine had the 5 mics. We're saying 3 crowns, meaning that 1 crown is good, 2 crowns is great, 3 crowns is a classic. No crowns is just gems. I think at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, we need to start being honest with a lot of these artists that got these records, you know what I mean? And it ain't gonna just be me, it'll be where we go to a collection of different people and get that are what we deem real people that actually can give their opinions on records and say, hey, what do you think about the beat? What do you think about the lyrics? What do you think about the overall message? Because these are what goes into making sure that you have a solid record.
Yeah.
A lot of artists don't do that. You know, right. So in order for them to be held accountable, we have to have systems put in place that's going to hold them accountable, whether it's the charts, whether it's a rating system for their albums, whether it's, you know what I'm saying, media, giving them, you know, media training, because a lot of them don't even have media training, right? And so it's a whole lot of things that's got to be put in place so that they can work.
I love how you're talking, bro. I love it.
Yeah, so my question, Nice, is whenever, well, one, I mean, are the charts in place? Like, are they rolling? Where's the status on the charts at this point?
Yeah, the charts are we're still gathering the how we're going to work the analytics, right? Because we have to see who's spinning, how they spinning, what's being reported, because this is all new, right? And so we don't want to come out and just flub the system and be like, because we're trying to get it out real quick, yo, we the first. No, we want to make sure that the analytics is straight, where people can't come back and be like, yeah, but I don't know, that's suspect though. I don't know. Now it'd be like, no, this is what it is, and these are the facts behind it.
Yeah. So with it, man, whenever everything's ready, it's good to go. What are we looking at as far as like how often those charts are updated? Like, what's that schedule look like to you? Like what's the plan there?
I think we're gonna do bi-weekly to begin with, just so we can get an understanding. I think if it's bi-weekly, then that gives people the opportunity to go, oh, this is a new system in place. Let me get my stuff together. You know what I mean? Because if we came out with a weekly chart, then you'll have one dude that's sitting at the top for like 12 weeks, 13 weeks, because he done already understood the system, so he's gaming the system by, let me go to SoFlo, let me go to 520 and get my records position.
Well, I don't know if this will help you in that process and that thinking, but the last question we asked on our Twitter poll was, there's a chart in place. How often are you willing to check it, as a supporter? And man, 48% came in, said that they would check it weekly. 36% said monthly, and 16% said quarterly. So I know we're probably not looking at a quarterly chart anyway, but we threw that option out. Like, just from those responses, like, what do you make from that data right there?
Well, I make that people actually gonna check. You know what I'm saying? Let's start there. Like, okay, this is going to matter, right? Now it's a matter of credibility once those charts are, released. It's like, okay, is this credible based on who they like? And, there's a lot of people that would be like, yeah, well, I don't think so-and-so should be number one. Well, then, so-and-so needs to get on his marketing game. So-and-so needs to get on his radio game. You know what I mean? So I think it's going, once the credibility is there and the integrity is there, and you already got people that want to check. So they'll check the first month or two. And then if the credibility is there and the integrity is there, then it becomes consistent all the way down.
Zero, man, you've been kind of quiet, man. How you feeling? Are you? I mean, you're an artist too, man. I'm the only one on here that does.
I'm taking it all in. I'm judging the wins here because I'm like, at the first part of this conversation, I was like, oh, and then I'm gonna send this song, and then I'm gonna do that one, and now I'm like, maybe I need to call up my boy and see if he can mix some of these stems down a little crispier for me. Cause I don't know. We gonna play this game though. We gonna see what happens.
But that's my point exactly. If you can't put your record next to a Lecrae and it bang the same way, then it's like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to our station, that's who you being compared to. When we listening to records and we're going, okay, boom, we got the Lecrae, boom, we got the Miles Minnick, boom, we got the Zero, but it goes like this. So now people got to turn their volumes up on their car, and you know what I mean? And now we got problems, right? So, and then when the next song comes in, it comes in way here, and now they got to go, you know what I mean? So, that's what it boils down to, is having the integrity as an artist for yourself to go, okay, for me to present myself in the best light, I have to have my tools right. Hey, that rhyme, right? So, but
bars. Come on with it.
You've been doing that all night though.
Yeah. So, but that's what it boils down to be honest.
Tap in with us again, FiveTwentyCollective.com. Check us out on Twitter at 520_co. That's CO. And let us know, man, how you feeling? You excited for these charts? You loving what N.I.C.E is doing? You loving what's going on at GH3? Get in, make your voice heard. Yeah, man, nice, dude. Appreciate you, man. We love you here at the show. And I know this won't be the last time you swing through and hang out with us, at least hopefully not. Maybe we got a few more episodes in, but thanks for just hanging out on this show, man.
Yeah, man, definitely most appreciative of that. Always say, man, I said for any great achievement, someone has to be the first to do it. Why not you? Also, strive for perfection so that you limit your mistakes. We're not perfect people.
The plug, my man.
Man, KD0, let's run it around the horn, man. What you got to say before we sign off?
Thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Yeah, we love you guys. See you on the next one.
We will be back soon here at the 520 Collective Show, GH3 Radio. Let's go.